Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
On July 4th, 1962, I found myself in the lost and found of mankind. Just because something finds its way to the lost and found doesn't mean that it wants to be there. Just because something finds its way to the lost and found doesn't mean that the person who lost it doesn't care for that lost item.
You are writing moments that people will learn from, grow from, and heal through for thousands of years. Together, we are co-authoring a unique moment in time. That DNA, those fingerprints, they're going to be gone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. But it is your story that they will tell for thousands of years. But only if you leave it. Things that do not serve you must go. The longer you wait, the more time you give them to trick you into serving them. 22 homes in foster care, everything I wore as a scar, as a shame, things that started like Velcro on my spirit. After just a few months, then years, then decades, I had believed myself into believing that they were indelible tattoos. Sometimes we have to be broken down to appreciate the view once we start getting up. I want you to leave this place and know that you have been changed. Why? How do I know it's true? Because each of you has just changed.
5 years ago, the Power of We Symposium was created to provide a platform for kids from all sectors where they could have a safe and comfortable environment in which to share both their joys and concerns. The Power of We Symposium is proud to have served over 250 kids throughout Romania when we took our mission global back in May of 2023. Now, 2 teams of amazing volunteers from both the U.S. and Romania embarked on an 8-day Legacy of Hope tour, bringing encouragement and hope to not only the kids of Romania, but also the adults who support them, and also to over 100 kids here in the U.S. who contributed handwritten letters of hope to our Romania mission of 2023. Now, this year, we are proud to provide this opportunity yet again in October, and we are super excited to up our game. New venue, 750 kids this time, and we want to see you there. We're looking forward to meeting you in person at this year's event, which promises, as always, incredible speakers, amazing content, and of course, some of the greatest kids on the planet. So, mark your calendars for October 24th, and we'll see you here in Chicagoland for the Power of We Symposium 2024. This year's theme is Always Together, Never Alone. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite or at powerofwesymposium.com.
way past time. How expensive do I have to be? And then I spell it out before you get it, baby. Show me your soul, and honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. But you walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight.
Oh my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. It's Monday and we're back. Y'all think I'm faking. Oh, he can't be that excited. I'm like, oh, yes, I can. You best believe. Look, I am so excited and I don't plan on hiding it, hide it under a bushel. No, I'm going to let it shine. Can I get an amen? Good morning, y'all. For one thing, I'm so excited. We are back on StreamYard. Ooh, thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. Father Abraham has many sons. Yes, I'm pulling out all the stops. I'm just saying, I missed it here. And if you see, I added something because we upgraded our TV in our family room because then, they go on sale during a Super Bowl weekend. So I waited. It was supposed to be a Christmas present. We always buy the house a Christmas present. And so waited until Super Bowl weekend, got the new TV for up there, which meant the TV in there went into the bedroom, and then the bedroom TV came to the studio. And there it is over there. So I get to watch 2 sets of cartoons all day. Well, I don't really just stare at cartoons, but I love play. Y'all know that. Look at toys and games everywhere. Why? Because I honor the briefest of all of the seasons that we get, and that is childhood. And since things that do not serve us, they little cowards, they try to come into some of our lives and throw trauma all up on the walls and in our faces, and try to snuff our little wicks out when we're small. No. Not on God's watch. No, not gonna happen. What that means is the earlier the trauma found you, the further down the hallways of history your voice will echo, if you leave something worth people listening to. Can I get an amen? Welcome to today's show and welcome to Bathrobe Moments back on StreamYard. Like I said, great guest for you today. Met her a couple months now already in Colorado College. And we had a good time together. We really did. Sybil Stewart is in the house today. Before I bring her in, I want to remind you guys, in case you are in the Savannah, Georgia area, coming up on the 4th, I'll be there the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th of March. Can you believe March is a week from today? So I'll be there. I'll be flying there this time next week for the NYAR, the National Youth Advocacy and Resilience. 3,000 people registered for this event. I'm so excited to be going there. And if you're in the area, I'd love to see you. Holla. Bella Purpose is here, as it has been every day for the past 7 years. We're in our 8th year. And I ring it not on accident. I ring it on purpose. Why? Nope, not a gimmick, not a show prop. I like to think of the Bell of Purpose as an opportunity, a reminder. We get busy, but look, trust me, you don't want to get so busy that you let the truth go in one ear and out the other. And that bell is a reminder, because just like that bell, the ring, you guessed it, it has a ring to it. Learn to listen for it. Find your highest self. You know what I'm saying, right? Okay, there you go. Bell of Purpose. And finally, before Miss Sybil gets in here, welcome my sidekick. I refer to her as my version of Ed McMahon. This is Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo, and I love me some Lucy. She's all, oh, look, you see my little doll collection? I got Lucy, Barbara Streisand, and Diana Ross. Who could ask for anything more? Hold on. Papa, can you hear me? Okay, I'm not going to do it. Now, Friday, I might have to do a little medley of show tunes. But I ain't going to do that to you on Monday. I'm not going to do it. What I am going to do is get Miss Sybil in here. Excuse me. I know what that is. I feel it. I eat Morningstar Farms sausages. They're plant-based, but they break up into whole little pieces. And every now and then, one of those little pieces will get caught. I'm just saying. But they sure are good.
What do you have for breakfast every day? Is it the same thing? I keep the same thing in front of me every single day. I need to maybe switch it up. Sybil Stewart. Have you ever heard of the Sage Stewart? If you did, it was her they were talking about. This woman plays the harp, right? She's the burnout guru. She's a TEDx organizer. She's an adjunct professor. She is on the advisory board for Haven House Services. We're going to ask her about that. I believe she's an author. Yes. Shake your head. I can see you back there, Sybil. Not yet. Ooh, that's a download. Must be a book on the way. And she's just an overall great person. She works with women. And here's my favorite part. She's a faith-based person who goes out there and she's not afraid to let them know what she's repping. So put your hearts on the screen. It's our way of saying welcome virtually. Here she comes, Sybil Stewart. Hi, Sybil. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Oh, this robe is hot. I'm taking it off. I am. I'm taking it off today. It's going to be 70 degrees in Chicago today. I know. When we had snow on Saturday and Friday, it snowed.
Okay.
Something's going on. How are you since I've seen you last?
I know. I've been so good. And can I say I am also an I Love Lucy fan? People say, why did you play the harp? I said, there was this episode.
I know, with Harpo.
With Harpo!
I already know. I know every single episode of I Love Lucy.
And I literally lit up in my face. And I told my grandmother, I said, I'm that. I didn't know in my little 6-7-year-old mind what I was even saying, but I was like, I'm that. And my grandma's like, what are you talking about? Like a clown? And I'm like, no, I want that. I didn't know what it was. It was a harp.
Oh. And you don't see, first of all, you don't see many people that are harpists. Right. You know, you play piano? No, I play the harp. No, but especially African Americans.
Yep.
That's awesome. And I saw on social media, there was a harp in the background. So where do you play the harp?
Yeah, so I play with the North Carolina Harp Ensemble. Yes, that's a real thing. So we travel around the state doing fundraisers and awareness about the harp. And it's about 30 of us that volunteer with this organization to bring awareness and then also do scholarships for kids who want to learn this beautiful instrument.
Wow. Do you ever see little African American kids that are just like curious about it?
Yes.
Isn't that a wonderful thing when you can introduce kids to something that you just are so passionate about?
It is. And then I just got back in town. I performed at the Department of State for their Cultural Arts and Black History Month program. Oh, so, yeah.
Wow. Sybil, you know, I don't read bios ordinarily. I used to, but it just is kind of flat. So what I decided to do instead of that is to just dip out for about 60 seconds and let the guests just share what they'd like the audience to know about them. Tell them who you are and how you're feeling in this day. And then I'll come back in and I got some questions and we'll get started. Does that sound okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. It's all you. Take it away.
Thank you. So my name
Sorry,
is...
it's really all about me. I'm kidding.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Sybil Stewart. I am the CEO and founder of The Sage Stewart. Everything with intention. Sage means wisdom. Stewart means to guide. And I help women of faith, womenpreneurs, towards their 5-year journey. It's so important that we have resources that matter in those first 5 years to set our businesses up for success. I'm also a keynote speaker, TEDx organizer, speaker coach, and auntie. That's probably my favorite title. And then, of course, yes, I am an adjunct professor of economics at one of the oldest HBCUs in America, Shaw University. So excited to be here with you all today.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Well, let's get started. I'm going to start here. Why faith-based? Isn't that, some people would say, aren't you kind of painting yourself in a corner, shutting off a lane? And what about, this is the question I always like to ask, what about those people who don't have any faith? when we're working the net, being fishers of men. And I bring this question up not to put somebody on the spot, but to give them the opportunity, because usually we get the same type of answer, and I know it's going to come. Clear it up about how people think somebody might think you only work with people who are believers. That's not necessarily the case now, is it?
No, that's not necessarily the case, but I will also say you've got to recognize what the voice of God is telling you. First he whispers, then it comes in like some thunder. So I thought I heard the whisper, work with these people here. And then one night I had a dream and God said, no, I want you here. And I'm like, but God, I'm about to lose clientele saying I'm, staking my fork with women of faith. And what I found is it opened up so many more doors because then I wasn't internally conflicted with what it was I was offering. And that became the I am. And I was like, well, if I'm screaming, broadcast your I am, and I'm not living that, then that means I'm not doing my job to lead by example for the women who I'm saying I'm called to help. And literally the clients that weren't supposed to be there left, and the clients that are supposed to be coming in are happening in abundance.
So let me ask you. So when and I can ask you because I've been wanting to ask it, but I'm scared sometimes to, you don't want to offend anybody because I didn't know them like I know you. So I'm gonna ask you. So when you say faith means that people believe in something greater than themselves. So with you, can that be Buddha? Can that be Allah? Can that be Jehovah? Can that be spirit, source, the universe? Just anything that you believe is greater than us and that created us through that same portal of love and service to mankind, and the easing of suffering is our job. Is that the case?
That is definitely the case. People say, oh, you're not a Christian. I said, actually, I am probably the most spiritual person you will ever meet. But I also understand that anytime we try to tie something to our human identity, we're now removing God from it. And so I'm like, whatever your path to God is, whatever that name that you were introduced to, I'm going to honor that and honor you in that place and space.
Perfect. Let me ask you this though, because I noticed I was on your website and I noticed, a lot of the logos of places that have hired you. And I noticed there were a lot of universities. So how does that work when you get to a state held university because of the separation of church and state? Are you able to freely speak from a faith-based platform when you present at places like that? Or is it what kind of tightrope are you on when you're doing that?
I don't feel like I'm walking a tightrope. What I think is happening is God's voice is being amplified even in spite of, right? Like I don't have to say, this is the word of God, but every time I speak, I know as God speaking through me, then you're going to feel whatever you're supposed to feel anyway.
And hear whatever you're supposed to hear.
I am just the messenger. That's what I tell people. I am the messenger.
What about somebody that wants to follow their calling, just like you, and it's like, do I or don't I? How do you feel? Do you feel honestly? Do you think it has ever cost you opportunity proclaiming that you are a woman of faith and that you are from a faith-based platform? Has it cost you? And if so, how do you deal with that?
I don't consider it a loss because I believe, and I know this sounds really cliche, right? I believe we're living in a world of abundance. So it's not costing me anything to follow my calling. It was costing me, and it nearly cost me my life to not do this. I nearly had a stroke at 38 because I was not doing what I was supposed to do.
There it is. Okay. Now, and I'm just clearing up something. I heard it a few weeks ago. I wrote it down somewhere around here, but it's on my heart, so I don't need to see it. I don't need to read it to remember it. Heard a woman in Canada say, your job or career is what you're paid for. Your calling, however, is what you were made for. You've heard that before.
Right.
Isn't that just so on point?
Yes.
And so talk about that. What do you believe your calling is? That anointing.
Yeah, I was afraid to live my name. So people don't know Sybil actually means prophet, and my parents named me that with intention.
You wait a
I
minute.
know.
I thought Sybil meant woman with 8 personalities. I'm kidding. That's a movie. Well, I'm just saying. But seriously, a lot of people, as soon as they hear that name Sybil, they either think of Walk On By, that song, Sybil, or Crazy Sybil, Sally Field. But anyway, so Sybil literally means?
It means prophet sent by God. That is
Wow.
literally what Sybil means.
Now, you know, those are some big shoes to have to walk in. What if you'd have been, you know, speaking of walking, what if you'd have been a street walker? I'm just saying. I'm just saying, though, because how did that make you feel? Did you feel you grew up, I'm assuming, in a faith-based home?
I did.
So was that like the equivalent of having a name like that, like being the daughter of a preacher?
Yes.
A lot of responsibility came with, did they remind you of that all the time? You know what your name means.
You know what your name means. And the world would remind me of what my name is. And it's different when you're 8 years old saying, you know, with these thoughts and these visions and these seeings happening at 8 versus now 40. Like, I didn't know what to do with it. So I was scared of my gift for, you know, the better part of my youth, because I was like, why do I know these things? Like, things you should not know. And people say, oh, you know, you're weird, you're crazy, you're this. And I'm like, I'm trying to tell y'all what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And I didn't have words for it, though. I now have words for it.
I want to go somewhere. Is it okay?
Mm-hmm.
Remember what you shared with me when we were in Colorado about that situation that you left?
Yeah.
And so I promise, it just came swooping in just now while you were speaking that last thought. Yeah. Do you feel, and if you feel comfortable sharing any of that with the audience, please go ahead. But do you feel, I want you to talk about how when you proclaim these things, because I deal with it all the time. I woke up in the middle of the night last night thinking about the Power of We Symposium, because I know that things that do not serve me, they come swooping in early when I'm on the path to greatness. They try to come in because as long as I leave doubt out, I'm going to get there. But the minute I open the door to doubt, doubt leads to worry, worry leads to fear, fear leads to anger, and anger leads to destruction. So even in the middle of the night, see, they think I'm weak and off my game, but I sleep in my armor. I sleep in it. So when my eyes open up and it's trying to get me to worry about something that is in my road to greatness, I have to rebuke it. Sometimes I have to banish it. And sometimes first I have to forgive something in order to get there. So I'd like you to kind of, if you would, and I'm going to dip out, and if you want to kind of explain, because I think it's a test. Abraham, Lot, all of us get tested in order to have that testimonial down the road. So as much as you're comfortable, Sybil, talking about that, and I want you to explain, do you feel that these things happen to us when we say, this is my light and I'm going to let it shine? But it's hard to remember that when you're in it sometimes, yes or no? And just kind of tell us how you're dealing with it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
We're talking about my exit, my great exit. Okay. Yes. Absolutely.
Because I believe a lot of people are dealing with it in some stage of that.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Absolutely. So I was 38 years old, like I said, and I was not suicidal. Like, I want everybody to know I was not suicidal. I was not having suicidal ideations. But I was also at a place in my career where I was like, well, God, if this is all you have left for me, like, I'm good. Like, I'm good. You can take me now. Everything's squared. Because I just was not happy. I was numb. I heard another word. I was in languish. And my prayer, I remember this prayer. I said, God, just give me something to live for, because I don't have anything to live for. Like, being an auntie is not enough. And then I started getting sick. And then my hair started falling out. And then my blood pressure went up and my sugar was all over the place. And I was like, God, this surely feels like death. I asked for something to live for. And it was because I was supposed to be uncomfortable in that season so I could serve in the season. And then one night, this was the night I tell people, I don't know if I died. I don't know what it was, but the night that everything changed is the night that I was having chronic panic attacks. Like, they were coming every 30 seconds. The minute one would stop, another one would start, and I couldn't catch my breath. And I finally passed out. in my home alone.
Oh.
Yeah.
And just for the record, anybody who's ever I had one once and thought I was on the way out the upper room. I swear I thought I saw somebody trying to take me to have lunch with Whitney Houston. I was like, oh Lord, I was talking to my mom. I knew I wanted to see you again, but not quite so soon. And so and that was just one, but you had them like row your boat.
Yeah.
Go on.
Chronic
and you were
panic
alone.
attacks. Yeah, I was alone.
Oh.
I was alone.
Ooh-wee.
And I hadn't slept in days. So I hadn't eaten in days. I hadn't slept in days because I couldn't catch my breath to eat. So literally all I was doing was drinking enough water or drinking something. And I tell people I could feel my body shutting down. Like system by system, I could feel my body shutting down. And that particular night, I finally passed out. It felt like hours of sleep. It could not have been more than 20 or 30 minutes. And in that moment, God gave me the vision for this business.
Ooh.
And he said, this is not what I promised you. I promised you peace. And then all of a sudden, I could feel my body starting to get well. Even though I still felt physically bad.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I couldn't explain it other than, oh, this is what I prayed for. I prayed for something to live for, and I didn't know what it was. And then he said, I am calling you to your name. And I was like, okay, God, we've been battling this name now for 38 years. What is this that you want? And he said, I want for you to amplify the voices of my children. And I was like, how do I do that? I'm not a talk show host. I'm not an author. I'm an HR manager. I'm an HR director. What is this?
Yeah.
And literally wrote down the entire business plan. Don't even remember it. But I woke up the next day and there it was, a notebook full of everything he wants for me.
Ooh-wee. That's pretty powerful, Sybil. So here you thought you were a woman of faith. Because I'm going to say this. See, this is just me. This is where I put it. Faith, joy, love, peace, anything that we seek.
Yeah.
A lot of people think they're things.
Yeah.
I believe they're places.
Yes.
You see what I mean? Because you felt healing.
Yeah.
Is the place. It took you somewhere. I know that because of when I was in foster care and the abuse, the kind that can fracture your mindset, began. God, the source, whatever you want to call it, something greater than myself, swooped me up. And I say to people, the term I knew then, they explained to me that the terminology falling in love was not romantically based. It meant that when you feel like you're going down that rabbit hole, you're falling down to that rock bottom, to that pit, to whatever it is, where we're flat on our backs. Don't worry. You're not falling into Hades. You're falling in love. That is me. You're falling into my arms. And for me, that is home. Yes. That is home. So, but let me ask you, one thing stuck with me about what you said when you prayed, give me something to live for. What I love about that is you didn't do what I believe a lot of us are guilty of. And that is you didn't pray too specifically.
Nope.
You left it open for what was best for you. How did you get to that prayer? Did you know, were you cognizant that I'm praying in an open, faithful way? By not asking for something, so give me this, get me out of here and put me there, or whatever the case may have been.
No, I was in a really unhealthy workplace, and I was being accosted by the leadership, my team, my staff. It's the first few, the only. I was all of the things in my career, and I was like, God, this is not life or living. And what I thought was rock bottom, right? Because in my human mind, rock bottom is I don't have money. No, rock bottom is being this far away from what you're supposed to do. That was my rock bottom.
Mm.
Earning multiple six figures. Like I like to tell people, I was earning multiple six figures. And after I woke up from that dream, because I've been having nightmares. That's the other thing. I've been having nightmares for weeks, could not sleep. I woke up from the most peaceful, restful dream I had ever had. And the next day, I quit my job. And most people, I tell people, don't quit your job unless God tell you to quit your job. God told me to quit my job. And I had to pray on it. I said, but God.
Who gonna pay my bills?
I said, but God, I just bought my house. I just bought my house. And you want me to quit my... So it took me 2 or 3 weeks, and then everything got worse on the job. And I said, yeah, I got to go. God told you to quit 3 weeks ago. You're quitting today. And that's what I needed. I needed a major reset.
Wow. So I want to also throw this in there because of us bringing in the topic rock bottom.
Yeah.
Here is why I want you all out there to get, if you find yourself or someone you know is nearing rock bottom, here's the good news. All you have to do is, rock bottom is usually when we're flat on our backs.
Yeah.
And the great thing about that is what is greater than us has people out there like us and a lot of you out there who through the easing of suffering on our journey, what we do every day to help others, is providing low-hanging fruit. Yes. Low-hanging fruit meets people where they're at. And see, that's what happened to you. Yeah, you just bought your house. Yeah, you da-da-da-da. But God said, I'm tired of you reaching for this ornamental fruit that looks good and succulent from 1,000 miles away, but you're just being duped. Here, smell this. Let just a drop of dew from this low-hanging fruit drip into your spirit and watch what happens. So then what began to happen once you were obedient? Once you were obedient, what happened then, Sybil?
I got featured in Business Insider. I was not... I wrote a post on LinkedIn and I was not looking for a job, right? I was like, okay, I'm not going back. I'm going forward. And I don't even remember what I wrote. And a week later, somebody from the Business Insider said, we love your story. And I'm like, what story?
What are you talking about, Cletus? Right.
What are you talking about? And then a couple of weeks later after that, I got contacted by an organization on Roku, and they said, would you like to be a talk show host?
So, now, wait a minute. I didn't know this. You have a talk show?
I do.
Oh, tell us about that.
Yeah, it's called, and again, I tell people, I don't make this stuff up. It's called 10,000 Voices. So when God said, go amplify the voices, I was not a talk show watcher. Like everybody really excited. I'll go ahead and call her name for the purposes of this, because this is what I was watching. People got really excited about Oprah Winfrey, and I didn't know why. I'm like, it's a talk show, Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, don't ring a bell. Just kidding. Sorry, Oprah. Gail, hey, girl. Anyway, go ahead.
So funny. But yeah, I was never excited about talk shows. That's not the life that I lived.
Sure.
And I said, well, I'm going to just turn the TV on. And I'm also not a TV watcher. And I turned the TV on, and there was Oprah. And she was interviewing Maya Angelou. And then one of the things, it was like, a reel of how many times her and Maya had talked. And then at the end of it was Maya Angelou's poem, Our Grandmothers. And it said, I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. And I was like, oh my God, that's what you were telling me. And so the name of my talk show is 10,000 Voices.
And where can people find that, by the way?
Yeah, it is on YouTube now. I moved from my network onto YouTube. So find me on YouTube at The Sage Stewart, and it is there. And it is specifically for women entrepreneurs of faith who are looking for visibility and to amplify their voices.
Okay. Now, you just said the name of The Sage Stewart.
Yes.
You mean sage like in the let's put some sage in here, poultry season. I'm just saying, because somebody might be going, huh? Tell them about that.
Sage means wisdom. Sage means wisdom. And again, I tell people be careful of your I ams, but also listen to how people talk to you.
Yeah.
And my first set of clients kept calling me a sage. And that is how I came up with the name. I'm like, y'all think I'm a sage? Okay, thanks. Sold.
So how long ago was this transition? Just for us to have a marker.
So March 4th, 2022.
So you're coming up next week, actually, on 2 years.
Yeah.
And so who sits before us today in comparison to the woman who was sitting, maybe not in that house because that's a new house, but wherever you were sitting 2 years ago? What's the biggest difference, in your opinion, between her and you?
This her is also going to be 2 years sober on March 4th, 2024.
Oh, so you just gonna throw that out there? You gonna hit people with trash cans? Shout out to Delary, miss you, girl. That's one of my favorites. So didn't see that coming.
So that same night I had the dream, God also said, stop poisoning your voice or they won't be able to hear you.
Oh.
And I have not had a drink since.
Now, let's talk about that. When people say to people, yes, I'm 2 years sober, people automatically go to, oh, so she was a lush. Oh, old drunk, huh? Y'all, I'm just saying what y'all was thinking. You know what I'm saying? Is that, was that the case? Did you feel your drinking was out of hand? Or did you have no idea
I feel like it was starting to get out of hand. At first, it was you drink with the corporate, right? I'm a corporate executive. You go to these things, they hand you the thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know when it was where I was like, no, I'll take it before it's offered, right? Like there was a shift. And I don't know when that happened. And then it became a cope to deal with the fact that they wanted me in these spaces that were not designed for me.
Well, and it was something that wasn't serving you, whether you were just a 1 drink a week or 10 drinks an hour. They were telling you this no longer serves you. So bye, Felicia, to the left, right? Yeah. So, and also, how do you feel? Well, and I think too, if something is keeping us from our authentic self, it has to go. So let's just, I'm curious, how many drinks a day were you having? Because I have 1 glass of wine a day, and I hope they don't tell me. Oops, I don't want to say that. Yeah. I'm like, don't take my wine, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, at my worst, I was probably a bottle of wine a day. And when I say a day, I mean after work. And so I would trade wine for coffee, right? So I'm self-medicating to get down, and then I'm drinking a pot of coffee to make it through the workday, right? So here's my body.
Yeah. Now, and like, and some of y'all know, watch like the show Suits or Billions or any of those where it's corporate based. They drink all the time. I mean, it's like remember way back in the day, going way back there now. Bewitched. Darren would come home and Sam would go right over to that little cart. Can I fix you a drink? He just walked in the door, right? But so, was it cold turkey? Did
Absolutely.
You just
have not? As a matter of fact, I get nauseous when I smell alcohol now. Like I can smell. It smells like poison to me to smell alcohol.
So no temptation. And what about people that are like, well, girl, you used to drink. What? Do you find yourself having to explain? Well, you're not even in that world anymore. So
I'm not in that world, but when I'm around my friend circle who used to know me as, and to have to say, hey, no, I'm good. They're like, at first they thought it was, oh, she might not be feeling well. And I'm like, actually, I feel fine. I just don't want to drink. And then I try not to make an issue out of something that is not.
Yeah.
So now what I've started doing, which is fine by me, is I do a mocktail, which I think are delicious anyway. So
Yeah.
I will do a club soda with some lime and some pretty stuff and go sit down.
Right. Because that's all sometimes people need. It's like, okay, she with us. So, okay. So that all these big changes, big changes. And I just got to ask this, it makes sense. The whole thing makes sense because you were still a woman of faith. You were still a faith-based traveler. Even when it was one, because God says, come as you are. Doesn't change that. So it kind of makes sense that you would have to lose those things in order to use your story for other things. So let's talk about the work you do with people today. Matter of fact, I have something. I forgot all about it. Let's see if I can remember how to do it. It's been a minute. Bear with me since I've been on StreamYard. So I'm like, okay, is that it? Okay. I think that, okay, wait a minute. Yes, take a look.
They walk along the ridge where he had been, and they uncovered acres and acres of diamonds. But the difference was he knew what to look for. The other farmer did not. So today I invite you to think about, are there acres of diamonds that you are sitting on and you are unaware of? The people who are around you who can serve you well, but you aren't sure because you don't know where to look? Today I'm going to invite you to penetrate your beautiful, beautiful brain and think about all of the acres of diamonds that are around you. I never thought of this. How do we as leaders help bring our employees into the fold when 60 is not what they grew up with? They didn't grow up with West Side Story, the musical. They didn't grow up with rusty knives. That's what it is. It's a rusty knife. Rusty knife. Wow. You're on mute.
Yeah, I was pouring water, and if you don't mute it and people can't see you, they say it sounds like you're peeing on the air. So I forgot to unmute. So there you were in all your gloriful action, pouring into people. What would you say? Where would you say? Do you like this year, 2024? The red carpet is. I know this is the year of abundance. What is it you hope to be reporting this time next year as far as Sybil Stewart's Joy Report? Where are you trying to get to and why?
Yes, I want to be on as many women's empowerment stages as possible because I tell people it's not enough for us to know one voice in history. We have to be able and willing to bring other voices with us. And so, like I said, I'm standing as one, but I want to bring the 10,000 with me. How can I create as much visibility for other people? That's how. It's about helping them get in front of wherever they want to go. And I want to build as many stages for women as possible. It's why I became a TEDx organizer.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Because that's new. I think you just started in January, I saw. How'd you get in there? You just walked in and said, hey, y'all need some help? And why? Because I want to do a TEDx and a TED one day. So talk about why you got in there. Have you done a TEDx?
I've never done a TED Talk. It was on my vision board, but see, this is what happens when you let God guide the process. I didn't say I must be on the TED stage. What I said was TEDx. Like that's on the vision board. I I tell people all the time, whatever you are challenged by is what you're meant to cure. And I was challenged by
Mm.
a TEDx organizer locally.
Say that again too when you're done with that passage. Whatever you're
Absolutely.
challenged with.
Whatever you are challenged with, you're supposed to cure it. So I was challenged by one of the TEDx organizers here locally, and I was telling one of my girlfriends, I was like, I can't believe that they let this happen at the TEDx. And she was like, well, what are you going to do about it? And I was like, I don't know. I'll plan my own TED. And she was like, no, you're not. Next day, who grabs the TED application, fills it out. Couple of weeks later, I have a license to host a TEDx.
Wow. So you're going to host one, or have you done it?
So it is happening on March 24th, 2024 at the historic Shaw University. 5 women, 2 students, 3 experts are taking the stage.
Are you only going to have women always in your TEDx things?
I feel called right now. I tell people I help women and a few good men too. So
Y'all knew where I was headed.
So, if it happens to be a few good men coming on through, absolutely. But I feel so led.
Did I tell you how lovely that outfit you're wearing is? And I love those glasses.
Thank you.
What?
Thank
You said a few, which means more than one.
Which means more than one. Yes, absolutely.
And actually, you look like a cousin they said I had. It could be. I'm just playing. So go ahead. So what is the theme, and how did you come up with it?
So the theme is sharing her story, remembering the past, looking forward. So often during Women's History Month, we look at the past. And so what we wanted to do is say, what have these women learned from history to tell her story? And so each of the women are going to present on that topic.
Well, here's a question. I'm a little off topic, but I've always wanted to know. So when you have a TEDx, you're the organizer, do they send you that big old TEDx straw name that's back there, or you got to do it?
Everything is volunteer, sponsored, donated, you name it. Everything is like, it's a grassroots process. And so that is the process. So
you're going to have those giant letters and everything on the stage.
Yeah.
And where do you find the little red carpet thing?
Wayfair.
Oh, okay. Shout out to Kelly Clarkson. She's always doing the Wayfair commercials. Let me ask you this one. How difficult was it selecting your speakers? What was your vetting process? Is that something TEDx gives you protocol, or do you decide? And what was it about? How did you choose? Know that she's the one, or she's the one? How'd you know?
Yeah, so for our students, we went through and looked at our student body and said, okay, who makes sense for the stage? And then I interviewed the ladies, and then we got it down to the 2. And then our team of experts came together. It was divine connection. Like before I could even say, I'm doing this thing, the universe started sending me these women. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, do I still even put up an application when things are being brought to me? And so I did not put up an application this time. And the 3 women were brought to me. Like I can't say anything else out.
The law of attraction. And you manifest. We manifest. And I just remind everybody, faith-based traveler right in front of us, and she said, the universe. There it is. So I'm so excited for you and your ladies for this. Remind us again. And where you said Shaw University, which is located where, in case some of the viewers are in that area?
Yeah, it's in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's the oldest HBCU in the South.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
How exciting. Now, one other thing. Can you take the stage at your own?
No.
So they have rules about that. So you can't just become an organizer and put your cousin and Shaniqua, and okay. So how often do you think you'll do these? Last question about your TEDx.
Yeah, so you're only allowed to do one event a year under the TED license. So
And will yours always be for women only?
You know, you asked that before.
I did. Sorry, that's it. That's my finality coming. I don't. Okay, well, all right. Okay.
For the foreseeable future, especially if they talk about speaking things into existence. I got sent the information to organize a TEDx Women, and I'm like, oh gosh, that means I really will be women only, which is fine for me. So I have 2 licenses.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's really great. Congratulations on that. That's not an easy feat. Good for you.
Thank you.
Before we get out of here, though, I feel that I would be remiss if I did not shed the light a little bit, or allow you to shed the light rather, on Haven House services. For some reason, I would just felt directed to that in your LinkedIn. And so tell us about it. I have a feeling it's something someone out there needs to know about. So go ahead, run with that one. What
Yeah,
is
so
it?
Haven House Services again found me. I was not looking to be on a board, but it is a nonprofit that serves youth who have transitioned out of foster care or out of the juvenile justice system, and they need additional services. So when you turn 18, you then get to go to Haven House until age 30.
30? Wow.
So
Now,
they
you know, I came out of foster care and
I
aged
know.
out. And so now, and I'm sitting here when you said foster, I was thinking, you know what I thought it was? I thought it was for women and children, like the victims of domestic violence or something.
Yeah.
And then you laid that out there. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. You know what? Automatically, I'm gonna have to get with you about that, because one of the things that I'm hoping people are starting to help our alumni, our foster alumni with, is a lot of them, these kids go to school and they don't have any place to go on the breaks.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love to see some place offer like a system of like host families where you can come here on Thanksgiving and Christmas. You can come here if you don't have some place to go on spring break. Because a lot of these kids, I had a girl at Rutgers last year hit me up and we helped her because she was about to drop out of school. She was a senior. She said, I'm just sick of living in my car when they put us out of the dormitories. So I'm just laying that in there, throwing that in your world in case you know somebody that I could work with to help do something about that. Or maybe we can. What else do you want to tell us about? Give us a tip. One thing before we get out. How much time we got, y'all? We got 3 minutes. So let me put this up there. You guys, here is the website. Give us a golden nugget on how, because she's also a burnout guru, helping people to avoid burnout. Give us your top 3 tips on how to avoid burnout or how to know if you're headed towards it.
So first, I want to tell you, yes, there's another organization called Fostering Greatness. It's up in New York. She's fabulous. She's also in my network, helps foster youth. She's also a former foster youth as well.
Want to meet her?
Yes.
Okay. Connect us. Hook us up.
So 3 things that I always tell people. Number 1, know who you are, like know your I am, and be willing to stand for it. Because when you know that I am, you're not going to let anybody take it from you.
Okay.
From somebody whose parents named her a prophet. So
exactly.
Number 2, don't consider anything that leaves a loss. And that one was probably the hardest for me.
Talk about that real quick. What do you mean?
So we say, oh my God, I lost my job. No, you didn't. You left that stage of life. I lost my ex-person. No, you didn't. You're creating space for the right thing. So I stopped calling it a loss. And I said, yep, that thing left me so I can go do this.
Oh, that one's worth 2 right there. Listen, you guys get over to thesagestewart.com and check out Miss Sybil. And there is also this one, her LinkedIn. And I will take the liberty of dropping both of those in the comment section immediately at the conclusion, which is here in just a moment of today's broadcast. And then you can just click and get over and check out Miss Sybil. Sybil, I want to thank you, and I want to also extend to you what I refer to as the turnstile invitation, which means whenever you got something you want to share with us or pour into us, you're welcome back at all times. So thank you so much for that. And I look forward to sharing more opportunities and stages with you in the future. So much. Thank you so much for being here today and starting your day. Sybil Stewart, everybody. And listen, as we get out of here, you all, I want to remind you of how important it is to remember who you are. Get up every day and look for one E and one R. You're already great. You're already bright. You're already smart. Find those two little letters. You become brighter, stronger, greater, just like that. Just like that. Listen, I will meet you, God willing, over there tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time for another illuminated conversation right here on Bathrobe Moments. Now get out there, find just a little piece of your high self, add it to what you already are, and watch what happens. Now, I say it every day, and I mean it. I love you. Not a damn thing you can do about it. I'll see you tomorrow. Have the best day ever. Thank you. Thank you, Sybil. Great job. Loved it. Bye, everybody.
Show me your soul.